All right, welcome into another edition of That's Deep. I'm Tommy Z, joined as always by Johnny Bravo. We might get a cameo from Keg here late on the main card. We will see. But got a interesting card here. Two title fights that are pretty good. Rest of the card not great on paper, but I feel like it could be some pretty good fights. We've got relatively low level fighters, so there's a lot of interesting matchups here, a lot of interesting pricing. But let's jump right into it. Johnny, how you doing? How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good. This is kind of a fight night Australia card, except with the two top heavy fights, the two title fights. But yeah, some big favorites, some interesting spots, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Try to make some
Yeah,
money.
very curious to see how you break down some of these fights because I feel like we could see some dogs here, but it's going to be tough to kind of pinpoint who the good dogs are. So
And it's usually pay-per-view cards. Usually, all the heavy favorites roll. So it's kind of
oftentimes, yeah. So yeah, it could be another chalk fest, but I have to think there's going to be a couple dogs that probably bark on this one, but we shall see. We'll jump right into it here. First fight on the card is in the flyweight division. We have Hyung Sung Park taking on Nyman Jargal Temendrabel. Pretty competitive matchup here. We've got 9-0 versus 8-1. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is a fun one to start the card. I think Park. He has good striking, fast hands. He's pretty well-rounded guy. He's got some slick grappling too. Um, yeah, he's looked good. He hasn't fought in a while though, which is kind of concerning. Probably coming off an injury, which is never good. But yeah, and then Turgidembel, in his last fight, I mean, he faced Carlos Hernandez, and I was on him in that fight. He fought to a split, and he kind of had a decent showing for himself. Hernandez won the fight, I thought, but he's a wild man. He throws with bad intentions. Defense is not very good. Has power in his hands, can catch you. And then he kind of showed he has a little bit of grappling in his back pocket too. Um, yeah, this is an interesting one. I just think Park is probably a little bit more technical here and a little bit faster. And the straight shot down the pipe, I think, could give Turnbull a problem here. But on the feet, if it's standing, I mean, I can see Turnbull catching him and putting him away with something because he's just so wild and just throws with caution to the wind.
Yeah.
I like the under. I like the under 2.5 here. It's at like -130. I don't mind that. And I'm gonna lean here. Park gets it done inside the distance. Probably maybe a sub here. Maybe he gets him down, gets his back or something, and locks something up. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like violence here. I like unders.
Yeah, I agree with all of what you said there. I like Park. He counters very well, which is nice. He's good in the clinch. He throws heavy elbows, good grappling. Turin Demberall, I know I'm saying that wrong, but that's the easiest way to say it. He does have some pretty solid wrestling himself. He can be taken down. Um, I think, yeah, I just think Park just edges him out a little bit, and I think that the composure. He can be a little bit wild, but he does keep his head in crazy scrambles. In the fire, he's composed, and I like that. I like the elbows. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with him on this one as well. All right, our next fight is slow on the trigger here. In the lightweight division, we've got Quillian Salkid taking on Anshul Jubli. Anshul Jubli was a pretty hot prospect towards the end of last year. Very good striker. But man, did he break worse than almost anybody I've ever seen in that last fight against, I think it was a Breeden, who was barking at him, and he was winning the fight, and then he just shelled up and ended up getting finished. Pretty crazy to watch. I don't know, man. It's so this is his first fight back, so it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I was, Skull Kill. I mean, he's a decent, pretty good fighter. I mean, I was pretty high on him in his contender fight. I backed him in that fight. His hands, he can work on his hands a little bit. It's a little bit to be desired there, but he's pretty well rounded. I mean, the grappling is key, and yeah, he's real slick on the ground. He's got good subs, and Jubilee. I mean, like the Breeden one, he's coming off another layoff here, and he looked good in the Breeden fight. The first 2 rounds, he was just piecing him up, putting it on him, and then like he just kind of just like got, like you said, he kind of got scared, kind of got intimidated by the barking and the yelling, and kind of just folded there and got caught and put to sleep.
Yeah,
Jubilee is good on the feet, though. I mean, I like his striking. His striking is pretty good here. I think he probably has the slight striking advantage here on the feet, but I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to be contested on the feet. I think Skullkill is smart. He pretty much just takes this to the ground and just goes to work. Gets his grappling going, and that's where he has a massive edge here.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm gonna say Skullkill gets the job done here, probably by sub. Another spot I like unders. I think he locked something up.
yeah. I agree, man. And he's, a lot of times we look at these guys and we're in the middle of the fight, we're saying, why is this guy not wrestling? This is a guy that looks to wrestle early and often, and I think he's got a big advantage in the grappling. And as long as he's just sticks to what he normally does, I think he rolls in this one. And after what we saw from Jubilee, I feel like if he falls behind at all, I think he could just fold up shop and just be
Yeah,
ready to go home.
he seems like a guy that'll pack it up early and look for a way
Yeah.
out. He doesn't seem mentally tough in there in the octagon. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
mean, it was crazy because I mean, Breeden, like, he was putting a little pressure on him. He's throwing heavy shots, but like the barking thing, like, I mean, you're a pro fighter. How is that getting to you? But it got to him. It got to him bad. Like it was crazy. I forgot how bad it was watching it back because I remembered it, but watching it back, I was just like, man, he really did just fall off a cliff. Like he legitimately looked scared. It was
yeah,
crazy.
it was wild
So yeah, I
watching
just
that
feel
one
like
back.
if he falls behind in this fight, he might just pack it up and just roll out of there. Very easy to tap to a choke. So I agree. Saul killed here for me as well, and yeah, I think he could probably win by sub. All right, our next fight is in the welterweight division. We've got Jonathan Mikulev taking on Kevin Jusset. Jusset, a guy, he's a strange one. I think he's pretty skilled. He's fought some tough guys. He's looked good at times. He's didn't look great in his last fight. Actually, he looked decent, but then he ended up getting caught by Battle. Um, Mikulev making his debut here. He's got some pretty slick grappling. I think there's a lot to be desired with the rest of his game, but he definitely has some dangerous submissions. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, just said. I can't really fault him for losing to Battle. Brian Battle's pretty good. And
Yeah,
you said, I mean, he trains out that city kickboxing team, so the striking, he's a good striker, and I think he's got some decent. He can, if he needs to, he's got some decent grappling himself.
yeah,
Um, I'm not going to hold the Battle fight against him. I'm just going to let that one pass over that one. Yeah, I mean, he's looked pretty decent since coming into the UFC. Besides that Battle fight. And yeah, like you said, John, the Milikaf kid is pretty much. I mean, He's got no hands. It's just pretty much just he's going to want to get this fight to the ground, implement his grappling, get to the back, get a sub in or something. That's pretty much his win condition, I think. Here, if you're betting him, you're probably just taking a shot on the sub here, because if he doesn't lock in that sub, I can see on the feet. I mean, I think Giuseppe's takedown defense is pretty good to stay on his feet and just piece him up. And then I mean, my worry is if Giuseppe follows him down to the ground or goes for a takedown and then puts himself in a dangerous position to where he can lock in a triangle or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just a big advantage here on the feet, and outside of a fluke submission or Giuseppe making a mental lapse and getting into something, I just don't see a path for the Millicap. I don't know. This is a guy I wasn't really too impressed by.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I agree,
Giuseppe
100%.
and maybe a Giuseppe by knockout. I mean, Giuseppe by knockout is plus 225. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him putting him away here. Even the inside the distance is plus 150. So
Yeah, I
can
don't
see him
mind it.
putting
I
him
think he
away.
could finish him. Like you said, it kind of would be a mental error for him to lose this fight because he has very good judo. It's tough to take him down. He's never been submitted, so it's not like he's put himself in bad spots before. And Giuseppe that I'm talking about. Yeah, I think Giuseppe's better pretty much everywhere. The kid Mikalev he does have a nice triangle. He does have some pretty slick submissions. But from what I've seen, and we go back to that Battle fight, like Battle just kind of put it on him. Like he was just walked through Giuseppe landed some pretty good shots, and Battle took them and walked through them, and he just kept coming forward, and that's not something I think Mikalev has in the arsenal. I don't think he can walk through the punches, and I don't think he's got the striking to get Giuseppe out like that. So, yeah, I mean, the more we talk about it, the more I like Giuseppe here because, in all reality, it's if he doesn't get submitted, which I mean he's never been subbed. I think he probably rolls in this fight. I think he probably finishes this guy. So yeah, I like Giuseppe here, and the more we talk about it, I like him a lot.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a parlay piece for me this weekend. Definitely, it's
Yeah.
right at that number. Yeah, so yeah, I love Giuseppe in this spot. I just think he's better everywhere.
All right. Yeah, yeah, sometimes when we talk these through, when we see eye to eye, it's just like, all right, we're seeing the same thing. So the confidence raises. And I like Giuseppe here a lot. All right, our next fight. This should be a fun one. We've got Rongju taking on Cody Steele. Rongju, he had a little run in the UFC, went back, came back on the road to UFC, looked pretty good. I mean, he looked decent in his last fight. Ended up getting finished because of a very well placed elbow by James Lontop right on the eye, swelled his eye up. Ended up getting it was a TKO. Rongju looked pretty solid in that fight, but that elbow just ended things. Taking on Cody Steele, who, from what I've seen, he looks really good. Very good grappler. We haven't seen a lot of his submission skills in the MMA world, but he comes from the jiu-jitsu community. He's had a lot of super fights in jiu-jitsu. He's done combat jiu-jitsu. Very good grappling, strong top game. This should be a fun one. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I love Cody Steele here. Yeah, the kid looks like he's pretty well rounded. I mean, like you said, I mean he's been in a lot of jiu-jitsu fights against the who's who. Competed. I mean, the grappling is really good. I mean, his subs are really good. and he's got power in his hands too, where he can start you if on the feet. He's got that kind of one punch knockout power. In Contender Series fight, he was supposed to fight some dude that was dropping down, that beat. I think he actually beat Alex Pereira in kickboxing. He was dropping down in weight to 155, and the guy didn't even. He said, "Nah, I'm good." He didn't even make the walk, so they had to book Cody Steele the next week, which is quite interesting. That guy would just be like, "Nah, I'm good." On this guy, probably watch the tape and it's like, "Oh man, this guy's gonna fucking ragdoll me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. He's just a well-rounded kid. He's got power, and yeah, I think Rongju is just, I don't know, man. That's just, I was high on him in his last fight against Lontop, and he just kind of let me down, man. He just didn't look like, I thought he would be decent, but I mean, he's got good striking. He's pretty well-rounded, but it's just like, I don't know. He just really let me down in his last fight. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just all my confidence in Rongju kind of just. I was real confident going into that long top fight, and he just really let me down. Um, yeah, so this is going to be Cody Steele for me. I'm going with the chalk again. I just think Cody Steele is just going to be able to do whatever he wants. If he wants to keep it on the feet and land big shots, I think he can do that. If he wants to take it down and dominate on the mat, I think he could dominate on the mat. I think he can pretty much do whatever he wants. So, yeah, love Cody Steele here. This is another parlay piece for me that I love. Love Cody Steele's money line. Think he gets the job done. I don't mind violence here as well. I don't mind a Cody Steele inside the distance or a sub prop. Don't mind that at all. It's actually favored not to go the distance. So, I mean, yeah, I like Cody Steele and by violence.
Yeah, man. I'm right there with you. I like him a lot. I've got a buddy, my buddy Joe Conway. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's always following these guys, and he was telling me about Cody Steele for a while. So, and usually when he tells me about a guy coming up, I can trust him. His reads are pretty good, and everything I've seen, it checks out. And for a jiu-jitsu guy, a guy that likes to grapple, he's not afraid to strike. He'll take some shots and keep walking forward. A lot of times you see these jiu-jitsu guys, they shell up a little bit when they get hit, but not this kid. He seems like he's fully well-rounded. He's worked on the striking. He's got good striking.
That is
he's impressive.
One concern though is he's kind of hittable on the feet. He kind of leaves his chin out there to be hit.
Sure.
That's my one concern about Cody Steele on the feet. He's very hittable in the pocket, and he leaves his chin out there.
Yeah. And this is going to be interesting because I feel like, Rongju is a guy that can hit him. So maybe we haven't seen it a lot in his MMA career. We haven't seen his grappling as much as you would think for a guy who came up in the jiu-jitsu scene. But this could be a fight where, maybe he takes a couple shots and says, all right, let's go back to the well here and do what we do best, and takes this fight to the ground. So, I don't know. I think he's just a very good prospect. He's tough. When he does take shots, he handles them pretty well. And I think he's got the tools to, if he needs to get the fight to the ground, he can do it. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Rongju's got very good striking. He could catch him with something big, but overall, I think Cody Steele, the kid's got some upside, and I think he gets it done here.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Our next fight, this is an interesting one. This is a guy that I've been following for quite some time here, Colby Thickness. He's taking on Ilia Toporia's brother, Alexandre Topuria. Bantamweight fight. These guys are both making their UFC debut. Topuria, like his brother, he seems like he's got some pretty good power. He's got good grappling. Thickness, very good grappling. Solid striking, tough as nails. like I said, I've watched this kid since before he was anything. He comes up, trains with Volk, trains with all those guys at City Kickboxing. I don't know if he primarily trains there, but I know he spent a lot of time with those guys. Um, Taporia, like I said, he looks very good. He has not fought anybody of note. The guys that he's fought have been pretty low level. So I'd give Thickness the advantage in the competition to this point. But Taporia's kind of run through everybody he's fought. So interesting fight here. Two guys making their debut. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean Taporia. I mean, this is Elia versus Volk. They're going to be both in the corner, so that's going to be
Yeah,
that's going to be pretty interesting war going on here. And yeah, like you said, Taporia. I mean, just the inactivity. I mean, the guy just doesn't really fight. And then when he does fight, I mean, the competition is pretty bad. I mean, he's fighting guys that are like 6-18 and like just low level of competition. Hard to find any footage on the guy. I mean, try
yeah,
to do like there's very limited footage on him. You can't really see what he's got. I mean, he seems to have like some good power in his hands. I mean, he's kind of got that overhand right, kind of like Elia, and it's like he's got some grappling too, which is interesting. I mean, he seems like he has good top control, but it's like the level of competition is really hard to judge, and Thickness. I mean, he's fighting in Hex. I mean, there's some good guys over there. I think he's the Hex champion over there. Yeah, this is another tough one for me. I mean, Thickness on the feet though is kind of less desirable. Like it's not really
yeah,
he's really got nothing on the feet. It's pretty much his game plan is to just kind of get his grappling going is what he would want to what his game plan would probably be here. We really don't know Taporia's cardio. I mean, we know he's probably got a solid 5 minutes, but if this fight gets extended, if Thickness gets some grappling going and kind of wears on that tank, I, it's just too many unknowns. I mean, the money line here is just crashing on Taporia. I mean, he was like minus like 480 earlier in the week. Now he's all the way down to minus 350. So
yeah.
that's an interesting move. A lot of Thickness money, a lot of Thickness love coming in here. I mean, he's got high praise. Like people in Australia say, this is the kid that's probably the best prospect on the card. Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I like earlier in the week, I think maybe take a shot with Thickness, but I don't know. Maybe just I mean, Taporia's training with some killers. He's got Ilya in there. I've seen him in there with Guram too. So this is kind of a tough one. I don't know. I could see Ilya starching him in round one, but if it gets extended, I think Thickness is definitely
You
live because
call
it's
him
just,
Elia.
huh? Oh,
You call him
yeah.
Elia.
Yeah, whatever.
Alexandre.
Alexandre, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if it gets extended and Thickness can get his grappling going, I think it can make it interesting. I don't know. There's just a lot of question marks to lay chalk on Taporia like this. Maybe you take a shot on the knockout prop, but yeah, it's just money line is just a little too juiced on too many unknowns. But yeah, I guess Taporia probably wins, probably catches him early, puts him away.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll with Thickness here. Like I said, I've been watching this kid come up since he was just nobody. I think he's got the goods. I've seen him his second fight, his second pro fight. He got front kicked to the face, which would finish a lot of people. He got dropped. He took some pretty good abuse in that first round, and he came back, put the pressure on the kid, ended up winning that fight. And that's his second fight. That's you could fold in that situation, but he didn't. And I think the kid's just getting better and better. His grappling is really good. I think cardio wise, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Uh, Everything I've seen from Taporia, he looks really good. Obviously, we know his brother is really good. So I could be it could end up bad here, but I just think thickness, toughness is really something that I can trust, and I think his cardio is something I can trust. His grappling is very good, so I'm going to take the shot here. It's probably just going to be a half unit bet, but I do think I will bet him on the money line. Um, he's still a pretty substantial dog, so potentially I didn't look. I don't know if the
Plus 275.
I don't know if the spread is out yet, but potentially could get plus money on the spread. It might be worth a sprinkle because I do think, um, obviously he could get finished here, but I do think if it goes to the cards, he probably gets around, and you can cash a ticket there. But yeah, I don't know, man. I've been following the kid for a while. I do think he's really good. I think he comes from a good camp. He's fought tougher guys to this point. They're both making their debut. A lot of pressure for both guys. I think it's worth the dog shot here. So I'll be on thickness. I'll probably throw a half unit on him on the money line. And I guess if I can get a plus money on the spread, maybe I'll throw something on that.
Wouldn't you
Yeah,
rather like bet the spread first, and then like if he survives round one, you could probably get like a plus 500, 400 on
that's
him.
true. That's true. And actually, that's something we should talk about because last week's card, uh, the and I guess it probably happens quite frequent. It does happen quite frequently. The line just goes crazy in the first round. There
Yeah,
were some big swings in the first round. The guy that lost the first round, if you just bet him blindly, you could have made some money last week. I did that
yeah,
with Vinicius Oliveira. He was plus 250 against Nurmagomedov, and we could see it. We all saw that Nurmagomedov was fading, and I jumped on that. I actually ended up getting it at plus 175 because the number dropped, but
moved. Yeah,
um, it was so obvious that Oliveira was live in that fight, and yeah, all those fights last week, it was that the
yeah.
number
These
just went crazy.
swings,
So
yeah, the swings after round one have been kind of insane.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
so if Topuria gets off to a great start, and it looks like thickness is going to survive, yeah, there's a very good chance we could get a great number on it, and obviously we'll be able to see it and we'll know, do we like it or do we not? But yeah, you're right. It's maybe the spread bet is the way to go to start and
yeah,
go from there because he's still a pretty sizable dog. So a lot of times you are going to get plus money on that. So yeah, might be smart to go that way.
yep.
All right, so I'm very curious to hear what you have to say about this next fight because I've got I've got some thoughts. Got Wayne
Yeah.
Kong, the Joker, taking on Bruna Brazil. Wayne Kong was rolling in her last fight. Everybody was high on this girl. You know, somebody that can challenge Valentina. She was, mocking her opponent in that fight, and then the next thing you know, she's getting cracked and she's getting finished. Taking on Bruna Brazil here, who is part of the Fighting Nerds camp, and you know, betting against the Fighting Nerds is not profitable, at least in 2024. So I don't know how that will continue into 2025, but yeah, Wayne Kong, pretty big favorite here against Brazil. Both very good kickboxers. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this one is pretty interesting to me. I mean, Wayne Kong, I mean, she came in, I mean, everybody was high on her. She was kind of like the female Francis Ngannou. Everybody thought she was going to come in and just start smoking all these girls, and she did in her first fight, but Victoria Leonardo, like, I mean, it doesn't probably get
Right.
any lower than that.
Yeah.
And then Gabriela Fernandez, she came in, and Fernandez isn't a pushover. She's got good striking of her own, and yeah, Kong looked really good in round one, and then just kind of like she just like had a mental lapse, got cracked, and just was just trying to do too much. I think I don't know. She. I mean, the striking's there. She's a great striker. I think the grappling is a little to be desired. I think, as we've seen, she just how easily she just got subbed, which is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. And Bruna is, like you said, she's at the Fighting Nerds camp. She looked good in the Molly fight. Looked really good in that Molly McCann fight. I mean,
Yes.
she's got good striking, good grappling. And she's been at that camp for a while, the Fighting Nerds. So she's liable to be making some pretty good improvements here. And you got to think that they're going to have a smart game plan here to be like, okay, take this girl down and just and beat her up, and but my worry is maybe Brazil's cardio isn't all that, and a suspect chin kind of, I would think. Um, that would be my concern here. Um, yeah, this one to me is like, man, I thought all week about taking the dog shot on Bruna Brazil here, just because I think maybe Kong Wing is just maybe not just she's maybe just a kickboxer and maybe not just an MMA fighter, And when she gets
Yeah.
up against these higher level girls, they're going to be able to take advantage and expose the weaknesses in her game on the feet. Definitely, I think she's there, but this is MMA and it's a well rounded. You got to be well rounded here. This has been a tough one. Money's coming in a little bit on Brazil. Number came down a little bit. I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I undecided on this one. I kind of maybe taking the dog shot on Brazil here. Just I don't know. It's just I'm not.
Yeah.
I have nightmares thinking of Kong Wing after the fucking last fight. Because I had her by knockout. I had her, fucking all kinds of shit. I lost a bunch of money on that fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just hesitant to go back in at minus 410. I don't know. Maybe she catches Brazil because I think the chin is kind of weak. But I don't know. I could see Brazil here like making it competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I lost a lot of money on that fight as well. I thought it was easy money for Wang. And yeah, it was tough. That was like 4:00 in the morning, I think. That was on that
Yeah, that was a China
yeah,
card.
so,
Yeah,
so that
she was at
was
home
even
too in China.
yeah,
She
that
got
that was
fucking
even
smoked.
that was even worse. I mean, I'm tired. I woke up early for that. That was
Yeah,
brutal.
I had.
And then
Yeah,
to pour salt in the wound, I was at my buddy's bachelor party when Bruno Brazil fought Molly McCann, and I was hammered, and I laid a lot of money on Molly McCann in that fight because I was just having a good time, and
yeah,
so
I
I
had.
lost
Yeah,
I lost a lot of money on both of these
betting.
girls.
Yeah,
One beating
true.
me and the other losing and costing me money.
Same.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've lost a lot of money between these two. So I almost feel like no matter what I do, I'm probably losing here. But I'm rolling with Brazil here. The Fighting Nerds, they know what they're doing. They are a great camp right now. I think the game plan will be great. I think she will grapple, and I think if she does, that makes things interesting. But also, Brazil has good striking herself. It's not like she's a fish out of water on the feet. She's a good striker. Um, there is a world where I can see Kong Wang saying, "Yeah, I messed up last fight. I got too cocky, and it ended up costing me." And she comes out here and absolutely dominates. Um, but I'm willing to take that chance. I think Bruno Brazil is a very good fight. Well, I think she's an improving fighter, and I think she's in the right camp. I think she'll have the right game plan. And there's no way Kong Wang should be this big of a favorite against really anybody until she really proves herself. Because like you said, she beat up Victoria Leonardo. Like, all right, cool. Everybody does that. So yeah, I don't know. I'll take the better camp. And I'll take the shot here. She's a big dog, and again, I might be able to get a good spread bet here and just bet the spread and maybe cash a plus money ticket there.
Yeah, I don't mind the dog shot here. I'm tempted too. It's hard for me to get there.
Yeah, it is. It's tough, but I don't know, man. Yeah, it's just after that last fight from Wang, I don't know. I just she's good. She's definitely good, but
I mean, the
she's not what I
striking
thought
is
she
really
was.
good. You
Yeah,
know, the striking is really good, but I don't know.
but Brazil can strike too, and she does have the grappling.
I just question the cardio and the chin. That's my concern.
Yeah. I mean, those are valid concerns for sure, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna take the shot here, and we'll see. And again, maybe there's some live betting opportunities here, maybe not, but I just think the line's way too big. So even if you want to wait and see on this one, um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna roll with Brazil and see what we get. All right, our next fight is this should be a fun one. We've got Tom Nolan taking on Vyacheslav Borishev, lightweight fight. Tom Nolan, a guy that came in with a lot of hype, good fighter, good striker. He's a giant for the division. Taking on Borishev, who's his takedown defense is terrible, and that's cost him a couple fights. And he looked absolutely terrible against Chase Hooper, but he is a very good striker, extremely dangerous. Tom Nolan, I have a lot of questions about this kid's chin. Fought Alex Reyes in the last fight. He was minus 1,200 at fight time and, went 3 rounds, ate some shots from Alex Reyes. I lost money on that fight because I thought he'd probably put him away. So I'm not super high on Tom Nolan. Borshev, good striker. He's getting up there a little bit in age, but you know, he can be a little flaky as well. But I'm curious to see what are your thoughts here.
Yeah, this is it's my guy Slava Claus here. Great kickboxer, great technical striking. Like you said, his holes are his guys that are going to be guys that can take him down and hold him down. Typically when guys take him down, I mean, he has good get up game. I mean, good to get back up to his feet usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid striker. Just kind of recently the chin maybe kind of concerning to me. That's he's been
Uh-huh.
cracked and the chin is kind of to me recently. But I mean, usually guys that are gonna stand with them, or he usually just is able to just make them look stupid. I mean, and I don't know if Tom Nolan, like you said, Tom Nolan has kind of been disappointing to me since coming in here. I mean, he almost gets dropped in every single fight he's in. Nicholas
Yeah.
Mota absolutely fucking starched him, you know. And then fucking Victor, was it Victor Martinez? I think fucking dropped him, and then he fucking came back, caught an elbow, put him out, and then
Mhm.
Alex Reyes. When you're going to a 3-round decision with Alex Reyes, who is probably one of the lowest level guys on the roster, I mean that is just a bad look. And okay, we could say the old gloves where nobody was getting any knockouts. Okay, I'll give it that. That's where every fight was going the distance. Okay, but I mean, he just didn't really look that good. And
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a standing affair here. And I got real questions about Tom Nolan's chin. And I think if you're standing for 15 minutes with Slava, I think, I think eventually, I mean, Slava, he rips the body, which will drop Nolan's hands down. And if Slava catches that chin, I think he can put. I really question Tom Nolan's durability. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't like this guy. And money has came in though on Nolan. His Borishev was like minus 140 earlier in the week, and now he's down to minus 120. It's pretty much a pick'em fight now. Um, Yeah, give me Slava Claus here to do the Slava dance and get a
Mhm.
knockout here. Put Tom Nolan to bed. Tuck him in.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, Tom Nolan is young. There is obviously some
He's a
potential
big
for him
kid
to
too.
make big leaps and bounds in his skill set, but I mean, to me, he's pretty wild. Sometimes he throws looping, crazy punches and gets himself in bad spots. He has been hurt. I mean, even in that Alex Reyes even cracked him, didn't drop him or anything, but hit him
It's
pretty
not
hard,
good enough.
and you know,
Yeah.
it's not a good look. Um, yeah, I just feel like this is a spot for Slavoclaus to just. I just think he will expose those holes from Tom Nolan. I don't know. Just not. I don't know. He just leaves himself open to be hit, and Slavoclaus is very good, very dangerous. And yeah, I'm not going to be shocked if Slavoclaus wins this one by KO. All right, we will move on. This next fight, another good fight, and like I said earlier, the card on paper, name wise, is not great, but I do think there is a lot of good fights on this card. I think it'll be a great, fun fight, a fun card to watch. And I think this is going to be a fun fight. Jack Jenkins taking on Gabriel Santos in the featherweight division. Gabriel Santos, I've had an interesting relationship with him after his Lerone Murphy debut. I was very high on him against David Onama. Looked very good in the first round of that fight, and then David Onama puts him out. But overall, everything I've seen from him, the kid looks pretty good. Jack Jenkins, another good prospect. He's got some of the nastiest leg kicks you're going to find. Pretty well rounded, decent grappling, good striking. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I mean, I'm pretty high on the Santos kid. I don't really hold the. I mean, the Leroy Murphy came out and he showed a good account of himself. He pushed the undefeated guy that nobody's been able to do. He kind of pushed him to the limit there and
Yeah,
made Murphy work. And then everybody was high on him going into the Onama fight. I was actually on Onama in that fight, and yeah, he caught him and put him away. But then he comes back against what's Zing C or whatever his name is, and I mean, he dominates and looks really good.
yeah,
Uses his
great,
grappling,
great.
drops him. I mean, looked really good. Um, yeah, good grappling, good subs, pretty well-rounded guy. Um, Cardio, kind of a question to me. I mean, the Onama fight, he kind of slowed down in that fight. Um, yeah, and like you said, Jack Jenkins, well-rounded guy. Just those powerful fucking leg kicks are just bone-shattering leg kicks. I mean, those kicks are pretty powerful. Yeah, decent striking. The hands are kind of a little low volume to me. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
kind of low volume, but he throws a lot of kicks. I mean, the grappling, I think he can be offensively grappled and taken down, um, which is I think, kind of a concern here in this spot. I think, Santos could probably take him down here and yeah, do some work here. I don't know. And it's kind of strange. Jack Jenkins here in Australia, he got gifted that Jamal Emmers fight in Australia where he pretty much almost lost every single round, I thought. Even though I was
yeah,
actually on him and I was on him in that fight
I was
and
too. Yeah, yeah,
we got gifted a win there. But yeah,
yeah,
it's a home crowd. They're going to be going crazy for Jack. He's a fan favorite here in Australia. I don't know. I just think Santos is just better everywhere. Yeah, I think he gets the job done here. I don't know whether it's inside the distance or if it's a decision. Maybe he grapples him. I could see Santos really going to his grappling here in this spot because you don't want to take too many of those vicious leg kicks. So
right.
I see him getting the grappling going and going to work here. And yeah, I like Santos here in this spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think Santos. This is a matchup where Santos can kind of put all the skills together, and I think he can win with the grappling. I do think he's really good. I mean, even in that Onama loss, like he looked good in that fight. He got caught and he got hurt, and maybe a little overconfident. and it kind of caught up to him. But I think the kid's really good. I think he's got all the skills, and he's fought. David Onama's no joke. Lerone Murphy's no joke. He's fought some tough guys to work his way into the UFC. So I would rate Jack Jenkins below both of those guys. And I think this is a good spot for him. So I will agree. I think he gets the job done here. All right, our next fight is in the welterweight division. We have Jake Matthews taking on Francisco Prado. Matthews, a guy, he's been around forever. He's kind of always been in the spot that he's in right now. He has some great wins at times. He looks great. And then he falters, kind of rotates wins and losses. Taking on Francisco Prado, who's fought it at lightweight. So he's moving up. He's a little small for the welterweight division, but tough guy, throws heavy punches, durable, extremely durable, solid power, a lot of fight, doesn't quit. Interesting one here. Jake Matthews, a pretty sizable favorite, and I do think he's probably the side here, but Prado can make this one interesting. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, Jake Matthews kind of just he's been in the UFC forever. He's got like 20 fights in the UFC. He's kind of just he's pretty well rounded, but he's kind of like one of these kind of flaky guys, man. It's like you think he has a lot of potential, and he's pretty well rounded. He's got some good grappling, some good power in his hands, but I don't know. It just doesn't really do it for him. I don't know. He's just like you think you trust the guy. You think he has a good performance, and you think you trust the guy. You back him, and then he just lets you down. You know what I mean? And it's
100%.
It's concerning. Prado. I mean, moving up in weight, and it's going to be interesting here. I mean, he's got a lot of power in his hands. And it's going to be interesting to see here. I don't know. On the feed, I think I give Prado the slight edge on the feed. I think Matthews here to get the win. He's going to probably have to implement the grappling and get it going here, long trip for Prado coming over to Australia, which is another concern. These guys flying over here, time change, can they get acclimated to the time and all that? I don't know. This is a tough one for me. This feels like a spot where it's like I back Jake Matthews, and then Prado just fucking starches him.
Right.
I've got a weird feeling that Prado. I mean, he throws big power, and whether the power translates up weight class, I don't know. But man, I don't know. And this is one where I could see I'm backing Prado, and then it's like, fuck, it was just way too easy with Matthews.
Yeah, no, 100%.
This is what, yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna lean that Prado can get the job done here. I don't know. I'm just not high on Matthews. I just don't trust him. He's let me down in the past. Prado. Give me the dog shot on Prado. Fuck it.
Okay, I like it. My official pick here. I thought I liked Matthews. I think he can win. But I like the overs. I think he could win by decision. I don't think he puts Prado out. But I also thought Prado is live in this fight. So I don't know if I'm going to have a bet here pre-flop. I'm kind of with you, man. I think Prado is very live in this one. And I was just kind of leaning Matthews just because I do think he's going to have a little bit of a size advantage. But there's no doubt in my mind that we could be, midway through the second round and Prado's just moving forward and throwing bombs, and, he can turn the tide here. So this is one that I'm going to be interested to watch live, potentially, hopefully get a good price here somewhere. But as of right now, I'm going to lean Matthews. I kind of want to see how these guys face off, though. Because Matthews is listed at, I think, 5'11", and Prado has listed at 5'10". I think Prado's probably closer to 5'9", and Matthews closer to 6 foot. So I'm kind of curious to see how these guys face off, what the size difference looks like. But yeah, I mean, Matthews has let down so much in the past. I thought he was going to absolutely murder Diego Sanchez back in the day. He ended up beating him, finishing him late. But ever since that fight, I was just like, this guy, he's just not it. He's fought some tough guys, had a decent account for himself, but yeah, I'm just not sold on him. So as of right now, officially, I will say Jake Matthews is my pick. But yeah, I have it, I absolutely can see Prado pulling this one out. All right. The next fight is in the light heavyweight division. Very similar to Matthews here. We got Jimmy Crute, who's been around forever and also pretty flaky, taking on Rodolfo Bellato. Bellato's got some pretty big power. Both guys actually have some pretty good power. Very similar records. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Jimmy Crute coming out of retirement. I think he retired at like 28 years old after the Menafield fight. Menafield, when you're getting subbed by Menafield, maybe you should kind of take a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did fight to a draw with Menafield, then they ran it back and he got subbed and retired. He's coming back here in his hometown. I mean, he's got decent striking, decent pop in his hands, but I think where he thrives is when he gets his grappling going. If he can get his grappling going, maybe get the submission game going, he's very dangerous. Could be live here. And then Bellato is a guy, I'm just not high on this guy at all. I mean, I question his durability. I mean, that Ihor Peteria fight, I mean, the ref, I think, could have stopped it a couple of times. I mean, he was just getting absolutely destroyed by Ihor Peteria, who's now cut, and then Peteria ended up giving all he got. The ref never stopped it. He gassed out, and then Bellato reverses position and just grounds him to dust. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, Bellato does have good power in his hands. He's got good striking. I don't know about the cardio. I guess it's okay. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of this is a tough one for me here. I don't like Bellato. I'm not a big fan of Jimmy Crute, but at the money line number, I mean, I'm gonna have to roll with Jimmy Crute here to maybe land something and put away Bellato. Yeah, Jimmy Crute for me, money line.
Yeah, I pretty much echo everything you're saying. It's tough to back Jimmy Crute, but Bellato hasn't shown us anything to say that he's any good either. Yeah, this to me, this is a fight that I'm probably gonna want to fade.
Violence.
Yeah,
love violence here.
Probably the way to go here. Yeah, because one way or another, I feel like somebody's getting finished because I don't think either guy is great with the cardio. And I think at some point when one guy gets the advantage, that's probably gonna be the end. Jimmy Crute obviously has the experience at the higher level. It has not gone his way many times, but yeah, I'm with you, man. It's worth taking a shot on Jimmy Crute here. I don't know if I'll do it. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger, but this is just it's a terrible fight, and Jimmy Crute definitely has the tougher, level of competition and can certainly get the job done in this matchup.
Yeah, I'll probably just parlay the under 2.5 and just hope for violence here. But yeah, the side
absolutely.
pick's gonna be Crute, but Yeah, I don't know if I'll get there.
Yeah, I think I'll
too.
probably be right there with you. Yeah, not a fight I want to trust, but yeah, I think Jimmy Crute might just be able to get the job done here. All right, our next fight is in the heavyweight division. Justin Tafa taking on Taliesin Teixeira. Teixeira is making his UFC debut. I think he's 7-0 officially. He's got all first round finishes. He's 6'7". He's an absolute monster. Taking on Justin Tafa, who, tough guy. He's been around a little while. He's not the greatest fighter in the world, but definitely has some power. Definitely has some durability. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is gonna be fucking. I mean, I think it's gonna be a normal Justin Taffa fight. I mean, just these guys are gonna fucking stand and throw fucking bombs, and whoever lands first is gonna go down. Teixeira. I mean, he's pretty. I mean, he looks pretty decent. I mean, from the tape that I've seen, I mean, he's got good striking. I mean, he's got the grappling in his back pocket if he wants to go to it. Um, yeah, and Tafa is just. We know what we're gonna get out of Tafa. He's gonna go. He's gonna kill or be killed. He's gonna throw big bombs on the feet, and if he lands, then he's gonna probably put you away. But if he doesn't, then I mean, he's probably gonna get put away himself. Yeah, I definitely see violence here. I don't know. It's tough for me to land on a side. Maybe just going with the younger, more athletic guy to get the job done here, Teixeira. I mean, I just don't think Tafa's very good. I don't know. Besides just that wild one punch, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is another tough one for me. I'll just lean with the younger guy just to be able to go. I mean, yeah, it's making his debut. Could be nervous. Tafa throwing bombs. I don't know. Tafa's not a guy that I really like to trust with my money. You know,
Yeah, I hear
this
you.
pro- this probably doesn't get out of the first round. Um, Probably an unders here. Violence for sure. Love violence here, but yeah, the pick's going to be Teixeira, but with low confidence. More violence spot to look at.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted by Tafa here, just because Teixeira did take some pretty big shots in his honest contender series fight, which was kind of concerning for me. I feel like if Tafa gets those shots off, probably puts him away. Um, and we haven't seen this guy out of the first round, so making his debut, maybe goes all out, maybe doesn't have much in the tank after the first round. So I'm rolling right now with Tafa just because I think, he's got the experience. He knows probably just try to get through that first round. Don't go crazy and see what happens in the second and third. Um, Again, Tafa's not a guy that I want to put any confidence in. His wins in the UFC are against some pretty low level guys, some of the lowest level guys on the in the
Harry
heavyweight
Hunsucker,
division. So it's
Parker
yeah, I mean
Porter.
these guys are absolute trash. So you can't really put too much stock into his UFC experience. And we have seen him get starts. Jorgen De Castro put him out. He basically sprinted into a right hand and got starched in the first round of that fight. So, can't put too much confidence into the guy, but I'm gonna lean Tafa just because he does have the experience. We have seen him go 3 rounds, and yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like the way Teixeira was taking shots in the first round of the contender series fight. I know he's got the power, he's a monster. Um, but I don't know. This might even be one where I just bet as the fight goes on, if it gets out of the first round, we'll see what the odds look like. But yeah, again, not a guy I like to trust, but I have to say Tafa is the official pick for me.
Yeah, I mean, Ah,
And
whoever
with that
lands
said,
first,
we
pretty
move on
much.
to our co-main event, and we have a special guest here in the back. Our guy has made his appearance, and we've been hearing about this fight for a couple months now. So let me pull it up on the screen here. We've got the title on the line. Let's see here. There we go. Women's strawweight division. We've got Weili taking on Tatiana Suarez. Suarez, a great wrestler. She's had a lot of time off in between fights, but she is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in this division. Our guy Keg is high on Suarez. Keg, we will let you go here.
Welcome in, Kegger.
What's up, buddy? What's going on?
How you
boys?
doing?
We're here.
Oh, good.
We're here.
We're here. Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday wasn't great. I was half annoyed about how Sunday went. I lost my internet and television for about 48 hours. So it's been a rough week for your boy, but we're here.
It's always fun.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys know where I'm at in this fight. I know everything there is to know basically about this broad. I mean, I think the first time that this girl that I found out about Tatiana Suarez was in like 2014, 2015, before even MMA was on her radar. A friend of mine in California, technically my cousin, but I'm not close enough to him to consider him family. So let's go with a friend of mine. Told me about her back in like 2004, 2005. And I started to dig into her and I found out who she really was. She was national high school wrestler in like 2006, 2007. She won the Pan America Games in, I think, 2008. So I fully recognized that she was a problem way before I think she was selected to be on that season. I don't remember what season it was, 23, 24 of The Ultimate Fighter. Now, if I could have went back then, and I could have, and we could have like actually bet on who was going to be the winner that for that year, The Ultimate Fighter, I would have bet everything I had on her because I thought that there was a 0% chance she could lose when you looked at the other talent, right? Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that back in the day. And unfortunately, not much has changed in the legal market. I think in 2025, you still can't bet on somebody to win a season of The Ultimate Fighter.
No.
Right. So I knew that she was one of the best female wrestlers in the history of the country. And then after actually getting eyes on her and watching her on The Ultimate Fighter, I was like, this girl's got the best MMA wrestling right now on planet Earth in terms of this promotion. And I don't see anything how that's going to change. Unfortunately, she gets cancer. She has multiple reconstructive knee surgeries. 4 years goes by. The pandemic comes in like 2020. And MMA, basically the UFC, was the only game in town when the pandemic came. And a massive influx of new MMA fans come into the space because you couldn't really watch anything other than UFC for a little while. And nobody has a fucking clue, all these new people, who she is. She comes back off the 3-year layoff. She fights Nina Ansaroff. And if we're being fair, she didn't look good. She looked like she hadn't had a real fight in 4 years. But since then, I think she's basically done what she's always done. And that's either like break an arm or choke somebody out. Now I do I'm a big Weili guy. Obviously, me, Johnny, and Yeg have backed her in just about every fight that the girls fought in. I think like the only 2 times I have faded her was the initial plus 450 shot on Rose against her when she won. And then the second fight against Rose, which she won. But if we're being fair, Rose probably lost that fight. I think Weili probably won that second fight, right?
I agree.
So in my opinion, obviously she's got a monumental striking advantage in this fight. It's not even close. But I just don't see how, unless this kid gets caught with something coming in, how she gets stopped and knocked out. And at the same time, I also don't see a world where undoubtedly right now the best feat, because you can't even consider Kayla Harrison a wrestler. She's a true judoka. She's not a wrestler. So right now on the female level, I still don't think that there is a girl in the promotion that's got better wrestling than Tatiana Suarez, like at any weight class. Never mind just 115. Obviously, it ain't Erin Blanchfield. We found that out. Everybody found that out. That was a joke, right? So I like the big disconnect for me in this fight is like this is not men's MMA, right? Like she's not fighting Pahea where he'll knock your brainstem into 2040. This is women's MMA. Girls rarely go down with one punch. And if that's the case, and she's got to stop takedowns for 25 minutes, I don't see a world where this girl does not get her to the mat and pin her to her shoulders to the mat. Now, forget about her world-class BJJ, because it doesn't even matter. She's rolling with an 8-year-old child compared to what she can do in jits. The real question for me is, will she be able to get the fight to the ground? If you think the answer is no, then I think you have to be on the Wei Li side. If you think the answer is yes, then I think it's almost impossible to not be on Suarez's side. And for that reason, I got her. I've bet more money on this girl to win an MMA fight than any MMA fight since I started content and probably ever in my life, to be honest. I got her as the last leg as a 10-1 parlay, a 6-1 parlay, couple last legs at 225. I bet her 5 times straight, starting at plus 172, all the way down to about plus 125. I think that this girl has been the champion in waiting for 4.5 years. And I think she will prove that on Saturday night. So we also took her, when FanDuel opened her submission prop at 3-1, I bet that also. Is it going to be a decision? I mean, the question, like, first of all, if she can get this girl down to the ground consistently, how does she not submit her? Like, I mean, we're talking about 2 completely different worlds of talent in terms of rolling on the ground. So I have to think if she does get the fight down to the ground with time to work, she probably finishes the fight. So I sprinkled the sub at 3-1. The question is, what do you do now? Now she's the favorite, right? And I am surprised it took this long, to be honest. I thought that she would have been the favorite long before the week of the fight, but I guess it just wasn't on people's radar. And again, a lot of people don't really know what this girl's about because there are not a lot of fans like the 3 of us. There are a ton of new fans over the last couple of years that have only seen her fight a couple times. So do I think there's still value at minus 110? Yes, because I think personally she should be a $2 favorite. But would I tell anybody to bet her at minus 110 when you could have got plus 172 at open? It's a much harder conversation for me because I don't do that. But
she's up to like minus 130 now.
Is she really?
Yeah.
No minus one. Are there no minus 110s left in the legal market?
I don't know. I just see minus 120, minus 127.
Wow. So
the number has shifted like crazy.
Numbers.
Yeah, so I guess at this point the only thing you could do is probably take her by sub at 3-1 because I wouldn't tell anybody to lay $1.30 when we gave it out at plus 172. But could she win a decision? Is there a world where Wei Li stays? First of all, if Wei Li stays on her feet, Suarez is not winning the fight. I think we can all agree on that. But if she doesn't stay on her feet, I also think it's a very tough ask if the fight goes 25 minutes because I don't know how she could last if she gets taken down consistently. My one worry is everybody is that I see betting this fight is on Tatiana, but I don't understand why it took so long for the line to change. Like a couple weeks out, she was only plus 120 maybe. So I'm still surprised it took this long for her to switch the favorite. Don't get me wrong. I think it's very telling that the sports books have now made her the favorite. But yeah, right now I would say your best bet is to probably get the submission price at the best number you can. If she gets her down in round one there and they shoot that Whaley line up, there is a chance that I bet something on her just because I have so much money tied into Suarez. I would like to protect myself if I can and make a little bit less. But that's where I'm at right now. The only thing I would feel comfortable giving out is probably the submission, but I'm on her every other fucking way under the sun. That's basically where I'm at, boys.
Nice.
All right, Johnny, you on board with that?
There's definitely some concerns. I mean, Tatiana's never been in a 5-round fight, so if Wei Li is kind of preventing the takedowns and like maybe making Tatiana work, how is that cardio going to look later on into the fight? That's a big concern for me. The 18-month layoff. How healthy is she coming into this fight? That's another big concern for me, being off 18 months and then jumping in right into a 5-round title fight with one of the best female women's MMA fighters on the planet. It's another concern for me, and then the striking. I think Tatiana's striking is just, she really just got nothing. All she fights behind her jab, which she's got a good jab, but if she can't get this down to the ground, she's going to be in some trouble here.
Yeah, long day.
Yeah, and then the thing that I know Esparza is not the level of wrestler that Tati is, but Wei Li in the Carla fight, she had some good reversals, some good some good defensive grappling to kind of stifle the takedowns from Carla. They're not on the same level. Tati's definitely way better than Carla. She dominated Carla, Tati, but it's just at this number is like, man, I missed the number on Tatiana. I took forever to look into it. So like the money line is just gone for me. I can't bet Suarez at minus 125, minus 120. I was looking at the sub. I like the sub. But like, man, if this number on Wei Li continues to grow to like plus 130, plus 140, it's going to be hard for me not to take a little nibble. I don't know. But I definitely think Tatiana, if she can get the takedowns and get the wrestling going, Wei Li's gonna be in trouble. But
I think that those are both fair concerns. It's very hard for this girl to stay healthy, so you never really know where she is health wise ever. So I agree there. And then an 18-month layoff is a year and a half. So I think those are two fair concerns to have. I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I agree. I have similar concerns. But I also know, Tatiana's training with Patchy Mix, her boyfriend or fiance. I'm not sure if I think they're engaged, but Patchy Mix is a high level fighter. He knows about championship fights. So you have to assume that she's going to come in, cardio ready to roll. And yeah, if she gets the grappling going, she can dominate anybody in the world. So I like Tatiana. I think she gets it done. But again, there is that world where that first round the number can swing like crazy. So there is potential
both
we get
ways,
a good price.
Like if she doesn't get a takedown, I think you're right. It could probably swing both ways pretty big. Like if she doesn't get a takedown in round one, I think they're going to heavy shade going into round two towards Wei Li. On the flip side, if she gets a takedown in round one and she's got 3 minutes of control time, but she doesn't finish that fight, Wei Li's going to be 3-1.
Yeah,
Easy.
plus 300. I was about to say, we
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it could swell. It could both ways. It could swing. And to be honest, if the first round is competitive and it doesn't look like she's just absolutely drawing dead on the feet, but she just didn't get a takedown, and Suarez goes to 250, I'm hitting the button again. I'm hitting the button again. I'm hitting the button again.
Going
So,
down with the shit.
yeah,
Yes,
at this
sir.
point, Johnny, at this point, consider me the captain of the Titanic.
Yeah.
I'm going down with the ship.
I don't mind that sub look. I definitely, that sub definitely interesting. Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm with you guys. I'm going to be shitting bricks. It's a lot of money, but
Yeah, man. That, if nothing else, tune into the live show because that's going to be gonna be worth
unfortunately, that's going to be a subs only show. So if you guys would like to do that, use the promo code Nuke the Playoffs for a 1 week free trial at Nuke the House. You'll get Saturday. The Super Bowl show is going to be public anyway. But yeah, if you guys want to come and hang out with us on Saturday, use the promo code Nuke the Playoffs over at nukethehouse.com and you'll get a 1 week free trial.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We've got NASCAR
You're
coming
rooting
back
in,
too,
Kager.
so you're going to want to be part of the team here.
Yep.
All right, so we spent a lot of time on that fight. We've got another title fight on the card, and it's a rematch. It was a great fight the first time. I thought Strickland won, but Dricus did have a lot of big actions in that fight, and I can see why he got the decision. I think it's another good fight here. I did notice Strickland has some pretty noticeable staph on his arm.
Yeah.
So that makes me, lean more towards Dricus here. But yeah, what are your thoughts here? I guess we'll start with you, Keg, since you are our guest of the hour here.
I'll be very quick. I agree with you. I think the first fight was very close. I think you could have went 3-2 either way, I guess. But you just never see Sean Strickland's game evolve. He's got incredible striking defense. I get it. Other than that, he throws a teep kick and he's got a jab. It's the only thing the guy does. And I just see, when you consider how Dricus is probably just entering his prime and still has a lot to learn about MMA, he's incredibly unpredictable and wild. I just think that there is so much more upside that he can improve from fight to fight than Sean Strickland, because Sean Strickland's been the same thing for a million years. We know what he is. So does the number feel a little aggressive at minus 200? I don't know, man. If you're just going to go off the result of the first fight, yes. It was 3-2, could have went either way, yes. Do I think that there's a much better chance that he comes with a game plan for a teep kick and a jab than Strickland comes with a game plan for anything that this guy's going to throw at him? I do. And for that, I think I like the upside on Dricus more. So I took him and round 3 starts at like minus 115 or minus 110, something like that. I mean, Strickland fights tend to go long. If the fight ends in the first couple rounds, so be it. I wasn't going to lay minus 200 on Dricus, but him and round 3 starts at like minus 110. I think is fair. So I took that. Went with that.
I like it, Johnny.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I kind of flip-flopped back on this one. Flip-flopped on this one all week. We kind of talked about it on Sunday. We kind of liked that round 3 Strickis and round 3 starts. But the more I look into it, it's kind of like, man, that first fight was just super, super close, man. And I think that cut over Strickland's eye really, really affected his performance. Like, I mean, he even said it himself, but I mean, you could just see it in the fight. He couldn't see out of his eye. I mean, he out-volumed him. Like, he threw like 170-something strikes to like 130, I think, around there. So the volume is definitely on the Strickland side. It's like It's just DDP's his overall MMA game, just to be able to mix it up and maybe, in a close round, maybe get a takedown, maybe not get so much control time, because Sean Strickland's takedown defense is pretty good, and he does, even in the first fight, Dricus didn't really control him too much. He usually popped right back up to his feet. So I don't know. It's just DDP can mix it up, but I mean, like, what can Sean Strickland do here in the second fight to really make an improvement? Like, I don't know. It's like Dricus can come with a different game plan. What is Strickland going to do? I don't know.
When you think about how close that first fight was, it's hard to be mad at anybody for taking that dog on Strickland for sure. So
Strickland was the favorite in the first fight. I thought he won the first fight. I had money on him the first fight. I was fucking pissed that he lost. But watching it back like 4 or 5 times, super close fight. I could see why, because Dricus did land the more damaging blows, the more power, and he mixed in the couple takedowns throughout the rounds, which probably stole him a round or two there with the takedowns. This is just, but now coming here in the fight week, now we see here that big old fucking volcano on his fucking arm, and it's
that's definitely staph, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
there's no
100% staph.
Yeah.
It's staph. So I mean, a guy that usually uses his cardio kind of as a weapon, Strickland, is that really is it gonna affect his cardio? I mean, we've seen it before to other fighters, You know
what the craziest thing about that guy DDP is? He looks like he's fucking dead. Tired.
After 3 minutes. Yeah, 3-5 minutes in. He looks like he's dead.
He goes for 25 minutes.
Yeah, you can't even read into that anymore, because you just know.
Yeah, it's not
what it looks like.
It's unreal.
Yeah, so I like DDP. But it's gonna fucking kill me if I fucking flip flop here and Strickland wins. It's gonna fucking tilt me like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
but, dude, I feel the same
gonna pick.
exact way.
I think DDP gets it done. Yeah, DDP for me. I like the DDP in round 3 starts. I can see this going long. I like overs.
Just to throw a little love to MMA Truther, I actually looked at this bet earlier today, and I think that this is a great call. If we think that this fight goes 25 minutes, like most Sean Strickland fights do, I mean, he did have 7 takedowns in that first fight, and to be honest, I think he goes even more takedown heavy in this fight.
Yeah.
So I at plus 150, I do not hate that price, because I think the big part about this bet that I like the most is what Johnny said earlier. He had a hard time keeping them down. Like, he was able to get them down, but he had a hard time keeping them down. So this could be one of those, he might only have 5 minutes of control time or 8 minutes of control time, but he lands 13 takedowns in 25 minutes because you can't keep him down for more than 35 seconds at a clip. So I like that. I think that this is a good look. I was looking at it earlier today at DK. The line was plus 130. I'm in agreement. Where are you at on this one, Tommy?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man, because like Johnny, I bet Strickland in that last fight. I thought Strickland did enough to win. But optics win fights, man. And Dricus won that fight on optics. He threw big shots. A lot of them did land and they look good. And he did land the takedowns. So to me, optics win out. And I think the kid just keeps getting better. He's improving fight to fight. I thought Izzy had him on the ropes. I thought Izzy looked like $1 million against him. And then the next thing you know, he's finishing Izzy. Obviously, we just saw Izzy kind of do the same thing in the last fight. But I don't know, man. I just think Dricus, the confidence is there. The cardio is obviously there. He does have the full, well-rounded game. And optics generally wins fights, and optics are on his side. And then when you couple that with the fact that Strickland definitely has staff, yeah, it's tough to go against DDP here. And I agree. I think, DDP wins and starts round 3. I think it's probably still goes to a decision because Strickland is tough as nails. So even, Drickus by decision is probably worth a bet. But yeah.
What do you guys think about the split? The split here?
Yeah, the split's live as well. Because
I
they
agree.
are the way these guys fight. Strickland's high volume. You can lean towards volume and you can side with Strickland, but yeah, it's one of those deals. So yes, I think split is definitely live. It'll always be live when these two
What's
fight.
that price, Johnny?
That's not out yet for me.
Tell me that they'll give us like a 6-1.
No,
No,
it's not out yet.
You think they price it like a girl fight, 350?
Yeah,
probably.
Oh yeah, DK's got 350. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I don't hate that call, man, because like what Tommy just said, if he has all the volume, Strickland has all the control and takedowns. That's how you end up at a split 9 times out of 10.
yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good call.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's it. I guess so. We all technically were on DDP, and we like the fight to go long.
Yep.
We will be live for that card.
Yeah, 4 subs, and then Sunday at 6 p.m. We'll be live on Nuke the House YouTube for the Super Bowl. Been a long year. I'm looking forward to putting it in the rear view. One more game to go, and then we can focus on
I hear you.
NASCAR and MMA.
I cannot wait for NASCAR, man. I am pumped for this season.
It's gonna be fun.
Should be fun.
All right, boys. With all that said, it's been a good show. It's been a long show. We will get out of here if I could speak. But until next time, we will see you this weekend, and let's cash some tickets.
Later, boys.
Later.
See ya.